Welcome, my name is Alicia and thank you for stopping by my channel. Today we are going to talk about yarrow, this pretty little plant here. It grows about 3 feet tall and has little white clusters of flowers. This is dried from my garden, so this is not the fresh form. These are the leaves here that I did get fresh. So this is known as the soldier's woundwort, because it was used actually by the ancient Romans and also World War II to stop bleeding in wounds and cuts in battle of war. So we are going to be making a tincture from this today to help basically for, if you're cycling that time in the month, to help with, it helps with pain actually. You can make a tea that will help with pain. You just simmer it and let it sit for about 10 minutes and steep. But the tincture is going to pull out a lot more of the medicinal properties, and you're only going to need like a few drops. So that's my preferred way of making it. It's antibacterial, antifungal, so you can actually take this straight, make a poultice out of it, put it on a cut or wound, and it'll actually help the healing and help from keeping it from getting infected and stop the bleeding. So it's a really powerful plant. You can eat the leaves. They're a little bitter. I don't know if they're really super tasty, but you definitely can. So you usually, when you make a tincture, want to try to use fresh, but unfortunately I did not go foraging for this. This was in the backyard and I was just getting little clusters of flower at a time. So I did try it. It's still going to work. It's better to use the fresh ones. And there is also, I've never really done a lot of research on it, but you should use the white ones, because like the pink and the other colors are like a hybrid, or I don't know, I haven't looked into that much, but I have been hearing a little bit about that. But so also another way is you can make a powder out of it. So I just dried this out and ground it down, and that way if you have a cut you can just throw it right on there and make like a poultice for that too, and it'll help stop the bleeding. So it's pretty cool. It also helps reduce anxiety. So you can do a tea if you need a little chill moment. So for this tincture, I am going to be using 80 proof vodka. If you can get your hands on 100 proof, that is going to be so much better. I just live in California, so we do not have 100 proof available here. Super easy. So I'm going to be adding a little bit of the fresh in here. I'm wondering if I should no, I'll just do the small little one. So you're going to add a little bit of fresh. You're going to want to make sure that you have enough to fill the jar and also enough vodka to fill the jar. And this grows really well, like out in my backyard. It gets like triple digits here, and we get freezes, and I mean, it's growing like crazy and spreading. And so if you've ever thought about growing it, you can take a few cuttings and just root them if you find them in the wild. Or dig them up by the roots. They have pretty shallow roots. Definitely going to have a lot here. Whatever I don't use, I'll probably just, like the other parts of the flowers, I'll probably just grind up and add it to that powder. I keep some in my car. You never know when you're like in my first aid kit. You need something to stop the bleeding really quick, because I have an 11-year-old accident prone, and myself included. I said myself included. He heard me. All right, we're almost there. I'm going to keep adding some of this fresh, just chop it up a little bit. Oops. And I just hung this upside down to dry. You can put it in your dehydrator, but or lay it flat to dry. Just feel like the dehydrator was a little quicker. All right, I got this pretty full here. Super easy. First things first, before even, well, you're always going to want to label. You think you're going to remember, the date and what's in there, you won't. So I'm just going to put Yarrow, today's date, what's in there. Okay. And then you're going to pour the vodka in. You want it to go all the way up to the top as far as you can because you do not want air to get in. Oxidation is your enemy. All right, we got it pretty much all the way to the top. And then I add some parchment paper because the alcohol can cause like some corrosion on the lid. And another reason you don't want to write on the lid, I mean, you can with a marker, but it's alcohol, and I use alcohol to get the writing off to relabel. So when I'm not using alcohol, so that can cause it to come off, and then you don't know what's in there and the date. So it's pretty easy. You're just going to kind of move it around a little bit, let it settle. And you're going to put this in a cool, dark place for about 6 to 8 weeks. Just trying to remember to kind of not shake it, but move it around every couple of days. And then once that is done, you just strain it with, I have like a mesh strainer. You can use cheesecloth, whatever you have on hand. You don't need all this fancy stuff. And I use like the little dropper bottles, the little amber dropper bottles, and I'll throw a bunch in there. I'll give to friends. You can also mix this with other stuff, like ginger is really great with pain and other things as well that will pair really well with yarrow. So do your own research and see what ailments that you are trying to treat and what herbs that you would like to add to this. But that's pretty much it. It's pretty easy. So I hope I inspired you to make your own tinctures and that you can do it. And if you really like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you.